From not being allowed to wear a fake mustache in church to it being illegal to push a moose out of a plane, the US has some wild and crazy laws. These are often called blue laws, which are laws that are technically still on the books but are rarely enforced, mainly because they rarely happen. Most of these laws stem from some point in history where there was a problem that needed a solution. Apparently, moose falling from the sky and laughter during worship while someone dons a mustache is something that needed to be codified. This is very serious, people. These 20 laws are the funniest and craziest laws that will have you questioning everything you thought you knew about the legal system. Want to make sure you avoid jail time? Make sure to take notes on these laws. Number 20 comes from Arizona. It is illegal for donkeys to sleep in a bathtub. I guess this means stand-up shower stalls would be okay. This quirky law dates back to the 1920s. Apparently, an Arizona rancher let his donkey catch some Z's in a bathtub, which was subsequently washed away in a flood, leading to a very costly search and rescue effort. Number 19 comes from Arkansas, better known as Arkansas. Hopefully you're not watching this video in Arkansas, because it's actually illegal to mispronounce the state's name. The law was established in 1881, and its goal was to preserve the cultural integrity and identity of the state. If you're from Arkansas, please drop a comment if you've ever seen someone get arrested for this mispronunciation mishap. Number 18 comes from California, where it is illegal for women to drive while wearing a housecoat. Hold my beer, Saudi Arabia, because you aren't the only country with laws about women and driving. Number 17 is about pickles. In Connecticut, a pickle must bounce for it to be considered safe for human consumption. If it don't bounce, we ain't eating it in Connecticut. I'd hate to think that every pickle I've eaten has been thrown on the floor as a test for consumption. Number 16 is from Delaware, where it's illegal to whisper in church. So obviously, you'll have to shout your secrets out loud. This may not bode well for President Biden, who hails from Delaware. If he was attending church and the Secret Service needed to give him an important message about the safety and security of our nation, they would have to wait. Number 15 comes from Florida, where it's illegal for an unmarried woman to parachute on a Sunday. Punishment for such violations can be a fine or even jail time. All those thrill-seeking companies that cater to young singles are helping to perpetuate a crime. Number 14 should go without saying, but apparently Georgia needed a law to state the obvious. It's illegal to carry an ice cream cone in your back pocket. As ridiculous as this may seem, the law actually has to do with theft. Not ice cream theft, but horse theft. People could attempt to lure horses away by placing an ice cream cone in their back pocket, as it was a convenient place to stash the treat. Number 13 makes you question if Hawaii's residents are getting too much sun that it's gone to their head, or in this case, their ears. In Hawaii, it's illegal to place a coin in your ear. The law was designed to preserve and protect the integrity of its coins. But did a separate law really need to be passed about coins being put in one's ears? Let us know if you've ever received a coin in Hawaii with some earwax on it. We may need to contact law enforcement. Number 12 is from Illinois. Say what you want about how crazy Chicago's become, but the state as a whole has some explaining to do. It's illegal to take a nap in a cheese factory. Has this been an issue in Illinois? An issue that happens so much that it needed to be codified? The law was passed by the Sanitary Food Preparation Act to ensure that the state's cheese isn't tainted by a snoring employee. Number 11 is from next-door neighbor Indiana, where it is illegal to fish with a firearm. According to the Indiana Fishing Regulation Guide, it's illegal to catch a fish in Indiana with dynamite, firearms, or a crossbow. I guess this law does make sense, as a dynamite blast to a river could do some damage to the ecosystem. Number 10 is from Kansas. Not Arkansas, the actual Kansas. It is illegal to hit a vending machine that stole your money. We've all been there. You pop in a few coins, or finally get the machine to accept a dollar bill that is crisp enough to enter the machine. You press the button that corresponds with your bag of chips, and then nothing. What's the natural response? To hit the machine, of course, hoping that the bag will fall from its spot or that the money will be returned. Well, if you're in Kansas, think again. Number 9 comes to us from Kentucky, where it is illegal to dye a duck blue and then sell it. This law is designed to protect the welfare of animals and prevent the exploitation of pets for novelty purposes. That's all well and good, but does this mean you can dye them pink? Number 8 takes us further down south to Louisiana, where it's illegal for mourners at a wake to take more than 3 sandwiches. Subway and Jimmy John's are probably not supportive of this one. The law was designed to maintain decorum at a somber occasion, but for those of you that want to indulge at your next funeral, just make sure you don't go for the sandwiches. Number 7 takes us out east to Maryland, where it's illegal to eat while in the ocean. That's right, all snacks need to be sand snacks. I'm sure many environmentalists are nodding in agreement, but one trip to a Maryland beach and you'll see that this law is never enforced. Number 6 hails from Montana, where it's illegal for you to have a sheep in the cab of your truck without a chaperone. When we hear the word chaperone, many of us think back to childhood when our school would go on a field trip, and parents volunteered to go to help keep law and order. Well, if you're in Montana, be sure to chaperone your sheep. Does anyone in Montana do this? Let us know in the comments below. Number 5 is a particularly weird law from Nebraska. It is illegal for a bar to sell beer unless it is also brewing a kettle of soup. It is said to be a historical law that requires establishments serving beer to also prepare soup, probably as a way to stop people drinking on an empty stomach. But why soup? Needless to say, most bars in Nebraska are probably not brewing up soup, and rather just brewing up hops. Number 4 comes to us from New York, where it's illegal to throw a ball at someone's head for fun. So, technically you can throw a ball at someone's head, just don't have fun while doing it. While throwing a ball at someone's head may be an obvious no-no, the real question is why did it even need to be codified in the first place? This does not consider hitting a ball, so for all you pickleball and racquetball players, go wild. I'm wondering if this was some form of entertainment at some point in the state's history. Number 3 is particularly intriguing. Hear me out. In Ohio, it is illegal to go fishing for whales on a Sunday. Let that sink in for a minute. Ohio, a landlocked state. Whales. So, next time you need to catch a whale in a state that is nowhere near the ocean, be sure it's only between Monday and Saturday. Number 2 is from Texas. And just when I thought it couldn't get any funnier than hunting for whales in Ohio, Texas doesn't disappoint. It is illegal to sell your eyeball in Texas. I mean, let's be clear. The selling or trafficking of any human organ or tissue is dubious at best. But what was going on in Texas that people were selling their eyeballs? And at an eyeball selling rate that a law needed to be created. And number 1 takes us back to whales and landlocked states. In Tennessee, the only animal that is legal to shoot out of a moving car via the window is a whale. Some wonder if Tennessee and Ohio got together and decided they had a whale problem. And that is just 20 of the craziest laws on the books here in the US. But I'm sure at the time, there was a good reason to add the law, or at least we hope. What state do you live in, and what is the most insane law on the books? Or what would you say is an insane law that your state may need? Let us know in the comments below.